Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack, the weekly Nintendo show on the PSVG podcast network. My name is Donnie Reese, and tonight we record episode 164, the episode where we break down the latest news direct from Nintendo, the new additions to Smash, and some stealth drop demo that may or may not have released last night. But before we do, let us give thanks to those that support us over at patreon.com/PSVG. So one final time, live on air in 2020, thank you, Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Borboni, Chris McElfresh, Devin Tyus, Kyle Heyman, Michael Masick, The Egg Shin, Zach Bradshaw, Nick Fahaber, Paul Calicote, Rude Days 93, Rob Emanuel, Grouchy Surge, and Ben Moxham. Hope you guys enjoyed all of your DLC goods this year, and we can't wait to keep doing it in 2021. I'm joined here each and every week with Rebecca and Garrett. What's up, Shaq?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys?
We got a lot of snow here.
We did.
It's
that.
We
freaking
got
awesome.
a lot of it.
Well, it's not awesome. It's terrible to traverse through, but
It's inconvenient for sure.
it is inconvenient. But it's beautiful to see.
It's beautiful if you just get to stay inside and look at it.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been able to do. I was off from work for the past 2 days. I've been able to just kind of chill out, do any kind of work from home, catch up on stuff. Regardless of that, has felt like a long week, but it's been okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
It always feels that way for you, like try to get into the holidays, get into the break. Yeah, I get that. Let's get into what we're up to. Probably keep it, I don't want to say somewhat brief because I want to talk about something for a bit, but we're going to do Age of Calamity spoilers at the end of the show. So you don't have to turn it off now. We will tell you when we're going to do it. We'll pause, we give you full warning and everything, but at the end of the show, we're going to talk a little Age of Calamity now that we've all completed at least the main campaign.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'd like to begin. I wanted to talk about Immortals Phoenix Rising. I've been playing this game for several weeks, and I thought it'd be best to talk about it, I think, in depth here because of how much comparison it draws with Breath of the Wild. Are either of you planning on getting this game?
Eventually, when it's like $20
Okay.
or something like that.
I'll
So, like,
probably
next week?
wait for a sale it.
Yeah, something like that.
It's on my radar.
Okay. I'm liking it quite a bit. I've been playing it, I think I'm almost 15, 16 hours into it so far. And it's definitely, it's a Ubisoft game. And I think Jeff always calls them like map games. I think it's like the new thing.
They're literally map games.
Yeah, it's a map game. It's very Ubisoft, but they've borrowed mechanics that are basically straight rips out of Breath of the Wild and some design, which we've seen, right? We saw the stealth, the stamina bar, the gliding, kind of the open worldness. It has shrines in the form of vaults. It's another thing that you do. You go and collect Zeus's lightning, and you bring it together. Do either of you have any questions about it?
I've seen I played the demo too, so I kind of know what is up. It's like you just go through puzzles, and I'm sure there's some story behind it, but it seems like it's not that important.
I hate the story.
You hate the story. Yeah,
I hate the story, and I hate the
characters. That's what I grabbed
characters.
from the demo.
It's pretty bad.
It's like very fourth wall breaking, tongue-in-cheek type
way
of comedy.
too
But
much.
in a bad way? Because
I
can
think
be
so.
good.
I think
It
so.
doesn't land really.
Other
Okay.
people like it. I don't like it at all. It's the story doesn't really have any meaning or weight to it. There's no consequences or there's nothing really to strive for. It's so much throwaway to the point where it's like when the story and the cutscenes have no meaning, then I'm wondering why I'm spending time watching them. Like that's where I'm always with it. So I'm like kind of just skipping through it at this point.
How's the gameplay though? Is it fun?
Gameplay's good. That's why I keep playing it.
It's solid.
I hate the characters and hate the thing, but I love the gameplay. It plays like a Zelda game. It feels like you're playing a Breath of the Wild game ish, and I'm here for that. Like I'm all for doing that as much as possible. So that's what I was excited about. Was Genshin Impact when I thought that was going to be like a Breath of the Wild clone. Like
It's
not. Yeah, so I want all the Breath of the Wild clones until I get the next Breath of the Wild. And this is kind of like that. There's a few differences that I think are striking that keep them from being clones or similar, because I wouldn't actually say they're too similar. This is an Assassin's Creed game. This is a Ubisoft game.
I saw the inventory slots.
Yeah.
When I saw some gameplay, it reminded me of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's basically like stylized and mocked up to look like a Breath of the Wild clone, but it's really not. I mean, outside of the fact that you glide and collect like these little shrine things, it's really not. First and foremost, traversal, which I think is probably the biggest part of Breath of the Wild. And I remember when we were reviewing Breath of the Wild, the first thing that I think I said that many people said was, it was like you were playing an Assassin's Creed game where they took all the markers off the map. And they made you, they forced you to look and to pay attention. And it was that sense of discovery and that sense that we could all play the game and find completely different things in different areas, and you could completely miss stuff because you didn't have 50,000 icons littered all over the map, right? You had to go find them, physically find them. This game doesn't have that. Immortals Phoenix Rising doesn't do that. You can look in your telescope, and when you look in your telescope, if you are near anything, it'll put an icon on the map for you. And it could be like through mountains, and you don't even have to physically see. It could be like in the ground underneath you, and you could look at the ground and you could just put a pin on the map, and it'll tell you what it is. It'll be like, this is a vault, that's a chest, this is an enemy. You know, it does all that for you, like Assassin's Creed, right? So you go up on high, you look down, and instead of it unveiling the map and putting the icons, they actually make you pull out your telescope and plot them yourself. But they're all there. I think that takes a lot of the exploration, the discovery, out of it. Because I'm just kind of wandering at map points at that point. I'm not really paying attention to what's going on around me, because why would I? Because I know exactly where I need to go.
That's one downside of Ubisoft games in general, because there's just so many icons, and I feel like I need to finish a lot of them. That's my thing though. Like, if I feel burnt out with a game because it has too many icons, like I feel like I need to stop right now. It's just like, I don't know.
You just came off of Age of Calamity.
Let's save that for later.
Let's save that for later, for sure. I was thinking of Age of Calamity when I was saying that.
But no, I get what you mean. Like, I think the sense of that can be very overwhelming. Like, there's so many places you can go, but like, how do you prioritize that? I kind of agree with what Donnie's saying with, like, it takes away from that exploration.
And it's crazy because when you're on the ground and you pull your telescope and you just look forward, if you've gone up to the tower and mapped them all out like I do, then you just have an array of stuff like in front of you, because it layers it like over the environment that you see. And so anyway, that's a big difference. And I think it's a major difference because Breath of the Wild, you remember Eiji Onuma, you know, he tried to kind of coin it as an open air game. And the whole game is really finding what's out there, and through the use of its traversal, its gliding, its towers, and all that. All right. The next thing that's different are the shrines. In Immortals Phoenix Rising, you have vaults that you go and hop into, and they drop you into this little mystical galaxy world where you complete puzzles. They're not like the shrines, because you don't have like the runes exactly. I felt like Breath of the Wild shrines built organically from the start of the game to the later parts of the game to basically master your runes and combat abilities. It's like a training program. And like they always kind of built on top of each other, even like when you got the DLC, right? And the Champions Ballad and everything. Like it just kind of always progressed and got more challenging. Because you don't have the runes and all the little tricks to do all those puzzles, like you have the magnesis, right? Like you've seen that in Immortals Phoenix Rising. Yeah. It only really works on like rocks and stone. Like you can't just anything. So it's a little different in that regard. But the shrines in Phoenix Rising are just kind of like tasks. They don't really feel like they're built to teach you a whole lot that you bring back with you to the world or to master your stuff. They just kind of feel like, hey, roll this ball around until you knock it in the cup. You know, it's a
Ubisoft game, man.
It's a lot of that. So it's not that I don't like it. I do. Like I said, I'm still playing it. I've been really enjoying it. One of the things that I will give Phoenix Rising a lot of kudos for, this is the part where Rebecca rolls her eyes. It's beautiful, and it makes you wonder what a Breath of the Wild could look like on a Series X or something like that, because it is so sharp, and
I bet
it's so, the bloom lighting effect in this game is so oversaturated. It's too much. They go way too far with it. But in a Zelda stylized type of game, it's really, really pretty at some spots when you're like in a field and there's like things flying around, and they always have like these little, I don't know, like particle effects that are kind of around. It's like Fortnite kind of in a way, but with vegetation and stuff like that. So I've been playing it. I'm playing it on Xbox. I'm not playing it on Switch. I do not know what it looks like on Switch. I wouldn't buy it there anyway. So, but I wanted to at least give some feedback on just comparing it straight to Breath of the Wild. If you're looking for that, I do think there's something there. Phoenix Rising also offers a lot more in the combat gameplay than Breath of the Wild ever wanted to. One, your weapons don't break. Two, instead of having the runes, you have like these special combos that you level up. So like I've got this giant hammer that you can like pull out and swing, or like these spears that fly up from the ground. You do have a bow and arrow, but you just have so much more freedom and fluidity in combat that Breath of the Wild just doesn't have. And I know some folks that were when Breath of the Wild released, some folks we would be debating on the team, right? As I think the entire internet was at that time, was the things that were great about Breath of the Wild versus those that didn't like them. And a lot of the folks that were kind of pointing out flaws, they'd say that the combat was rather basic in Breath of the Wild, that they wanted more. Especially I think as a lot of people are comparing to like, say, Horizon. Phoenix Rising has a lot more on the combat, and you fight a lot more like different type of enemy types that do a lot of different stuff, like way more varied.
That's a big one, I think. Yeah. That's probably better than Breath of the Wild.
They have like the Hinox clone, and then they have like the Lionel clone. It's like a Minotaur. They're very similar. But then there's all kinds of other enemies that fly, that are like on the ground, that throw stuff at you. They can like hurl boulders like hundreds of yards at you and stuff like that. You just have a lot of different stuff. Bears, stuff roaming. Like the world just feels a little bit more populated in that regard. But they still have like the mounts. You can still, get your horse and then like ride. You can like go mount deer and stuff like that if you want to. You can ride a bear if you want to like go and try to train one. I will say the world doesn't feel as organic. You don't necessarily come across like, or at least I haven't yet. Who knows? Maybe it's out there and I haven't discovered it yet, but I haven't come across like a town settlement that I'm doing like all the tasks for the people, and I'm not like, participating in an economy. And, which just jogged my memory. The biggest difference between these two games is the balance in the systems that Breath of the Wild have. Phoenix Rising doesn't have any of that. That's the biggest difference. Like the 100% the biggest difference is that special sauce that I think made Breath of the Wild special, using the forces of wind, electricity, gravity, not being strong enough to do something, but being able to chop a tree down, freeze it, smack it, get on it, and launch yourself across the map, or to go out and, procure so many apples and bombs that you could go beat up something that you otherwise couldn't by yourself. That was the thing that Breath of the Wild has done that nothing has come close to doing, in my opinion.
I think that's what made the game special. I feel like you're right that was what made people keep talking about it. It's like, oh, you did this way, but I did it that way. The other person did it that way. It was fun to talk about and realize, oh my gosh, like it almost felt like old schoolyard conversation, pre-internet. Right. Obviously, we're still having those conversations on the internet, but there was just so much variety of it that everybody was doing things a different way.
I still see videos online, just like doing the craziest stuff in Legend of Zelda.
I saw somebody the other day jump in midair, freeze, but as they like froze, they slowed down like with their bow. They dropped a bomb and then used the bomb to blow themselves over the gate to get the shrine.
It's amazing. Yeah. They do amazing things. If you ever want to get into it, just watch a speed run of it, and there's so many tricks. So mechanics, right? Stamina, jump, climb, basic sword swipe, all that's the same. It's very Breath of the Wild. You can tell they've adapted that. But none of the underlying systems to solve shrines, to aid yourself in combat or traversal, to break, or I wouldn't say break the game, I'll say challenge the game, challenge the laws of the game. In Phoenix Rising, you go out and collect whatever you find. Like you just pick it up and you bring it back and you turn it in to level up, and then you go out and collect more stuff to fight bigger stuff, and you bring it back to level up, and you go out and it's just that, right? When Breath of the Wild first came out, there's the shrine that's on the island in the southeast part of the map.
Eventide?
Yeah. I found that shrine, not just the Eventide shrine, the one next to it where it's like the Battle of Strength. I found that shrine very early, and I went in there, and I got smoked by the little guardian with the laser swords and stuff, and I farmed ore and diamonds and stuff and bought like 100 bombs and went there and got that sword. And I did it like 5 hours into the game. and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And I thought that I had cheesed the system. I found nothing like that in Phoenix Rising yet, but at the same time, it's not bad. I don't want to just like hate on it. I am enjoying it quite a bit. Skip through the cutscenes, play the Zelda game. It's good. It's good combat. It's colorful. It's pretty.
Does it assign level caps in certain areas? Like it's like, oh, you're supposed to be level whatever in a certain area.
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Cool. I think you can go anywhere. Like it definitely set me off. Like once I got off the plateau, like you start in this little area. Once I got off of that, it was basically like go this direction. It definitely points you in one. It's like you should probably go here. So I did. So maybe like if I went the other way, I'd find it much harder.
So that's kind of like Zelda too. You start on the plateau and then it urges you towards like Kakariko and Zora, but you don't have to go that way.
Yeah, you don't. And I don't think I have to. And I could go anywhere. I've actually ventured off into areas that I haven't unlocked yet. So I mean, you can go anywhere, and there's like there are no like level labels on the enemies that I've been fighting or anything. So you know, like I don't know if I can fight them or not. I just am. You know, so it's good. I'm enjoying it.
All right.
Glad you're having fun.
What about you, Rebecca?
So I did finish Age of Calamity, which we will be talking about later. The only other thing that I really played on Sunday, I did a stream of another Zelda game that I've never played before. If you've never played The Legend of Zelda: Wand of Gamelon, I played half of that on Sunday.
Yeah, what is that?
So I don't remember what year, it was some year in the 90s. There was a console called the Philips CDI, and they were licensed to create 3 Zelda games. It was like the Wand of Gamelon, Faces of Evil, and like Zelda's Adventure.
I remember these. I know of them, but I've never played them.
They're not made by Nintendo. You know, I feel like the only time they ever come up in conversation is to make fun of them because they're not anything like Zelda games at all. I'm pretty sure whoever ended up making these has never played a Zelda game before in their entire lives. The Triforce doesn't look anything like the Triforce.
Oh my goodness.
What does it look like?
But there's character. It's like a blue pyramid. It's not like a.
Okay.
So it is.
You got the pyramid down.
Yeah, it's a triangle.
Yeah, that's true. There is Impa in it. There is Ganon. There is, the king, Zelda's dad. But you play as Zelda. You don't play as Link in Wand of Gamelon. And it's like side-scrolling.
Well, that's cool.
So it's not like a top-down adventure. It is side-scrolling. The art makes it very difficult to know where you're supposed to jump. Like, I'm not sure all the time where the platforms are that I can jump and go.
Oh, this sounds essential.
No, it's not a good game. So I don't think anybody should run out and play this. The reason why I did though is because somebody recently not redeveloped or they're calling it a remaster, but it looks exactly the same. They just kind of optimized it to be able to play a ROM of it in 2020. And so they made that available for people to download. So I downloaded all 3 of them. I was only able to get this one to work. I'm not sure why I couldn't get the controls for the other ones.
Computer's now being monitored.
But I mean, it's kind of cool because technically it's a Zelda game. It's not made by Nintendo. It's not like, an official canon adventure. It's not a good Zelda game, but nonetheless, it is a Zelda game. I haven't finished it yet. It's not a hard game. I'm going to try to finish it, this week on Sunday. But it's not good, but it's cool. It's fun to laugh at. The cutscenes are absolutely horrendous. They're drawn as if do you remember if you grew up in the, in the early 2000s and Microsoft Paint was the only program on your computer, and if you didn't have internet and you could just pull it up and draw things on Paint, that's what those look like, those cutscenes. The voice acting is absolutely horrendous. It's very bizarre. There's weird characters. There's a baker that you need to go free him and get bread so that you could throw it at the enemy and distract them. It's very bizarre. It is not like a Zelda game at all. But there are elements of Zelda, like you're playing in Zelda. There's, hints to the lore.
We should get a box art and put some of these quotes on it. Or a little picture for the logo.
There's a lot of memes from this. If you've probably seen a lot of them, like Link saying, can't, wait to go bomb some Dodongos, or I'm going to eat an Octorok, and things like that. It's just so bizarre. So it's a little piece of Zelda history. I can't recommend it, but I'm going to go finish it just because it's funny.
So what you're saying is, if you're a Zelda fan, you gotta play this game. It's
what I
a
heard.
requirement.
That's what I heard.
Right.
It's essential.
Yeah.
You're not a Zelda
Earn the right
fan
to play.
if you
Exactly.
haven't played it.
I was not a Zelda fan until this Sunday, guys. It's true.
Exactly.
That's it.
But I don't know. It is just kind of silly. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I'll finish it. Just to say I did.
Cool.
That's kind of it. I've been busy.
Garrett?
I got a couple of games I've been playing on the Switch. I just want to talk really briefly about Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So that's the game that got re-released on the Switch. Is the original Fire Emblem game that came out. It didn't come out in NES. It never did, right? It was just Famicom.
Not in,
Not here yet.
Right. Boy, oh boy. I'm glad Fire Emblem is what it is today. After playing a few missions of that. I'm actually quite surprised how good it is for what a Fire Emblem game is supposed to be. The computer's actually pretty intelligent, knows where to place their enemies. It's very hard to manage, these soldiers because it's you don't have like a pop-up interface every time you highlight over a soldier. You don't know where the enemies can be placed.
It doesn't give you like that grid overlay to show you like you can move within this range. You literally just kind of walk around. You're like, can I go here? I can. That's cool.
That's exactly it. And then randomly in the first mission, 3 pirates decide to move across the ocean. And I'm like, oh, they can move across the ocean. That's interesting. So the enemies can cross oceans where I can't at all. I think the one aspect that I learned while I was playing this game organically, you need to put your important character Marth into certain houses and visit the houses. And these people will give you tips in the game, and they'll be like, "Oh, that house just south of the castle, it has a healer that wants to be against the enemy. Why don't you try talking to them?" And actually, it's like, "Oh, that's interesting." So I actually went all the way over there. Eventually, made myself close to the castle and the boss and went to that house. I got a free healer off of that. I was like, cool. So I have to pay attention and go into these houses and to get more tips. And then I'm on the second mission right now. And another house told me, hey, this pirate wants to betray the enemies. Why don't you talk to him too? And so I keep getting more soldiers, which is nice. It's just very rough to play right now. It's interesting to play, just appreciate where Fire Emblem is now. I don't know if I'll ever finish it, but I'm more interested in playing the remake of it that came on DS, because there's probably a better way to tell the story, and it's probably way better in gameplay. At least easier, I guess, to manage. It is permadeath. Once you get a soldier lost, it's done for the rest of the game. So if you can't handle that, I would not recommend getting into this game. Go play Fire Emblem Awakening probably first, or Fire Emblem Three Houses is the most accessible Fire Emblem game probably ever made. So probably start there if you want to try to get into the series. Donnie has a little.
I'm glad I didn't buy the collector's edition. I was feeling left out, and everybody was taking pictures of their stuff, and I looked over at my shelf and all my games and my board game, and I was like, man, I should probably get it. And then I downloaded the game, and I played it for about 20 minutes. It's like, I'm never playing this again, and I'm really glad I didn't buy that.
I don't think most people that got the collector's edition is going to really finish this game.
That they're may not even play it.
Right. It is. So it does have save states. That's a new addition to it. And then you could change the battle speed of it as well. You can make it really fast, so you can go through it pretty quickly if you want to. But one issue that I heard, actually, and I heard it in the sound as well, once you kick up the battle speed, it just quickens the game itself. So even the sound effects and the music,
oh no,
it like rushes everything.
It's like fast forward.
Yeah, basically
like on a VHS tape.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty much. They just basically put that in save and load states in there. So at least you can.
It seems like a cool little piece of history, but it sounds like it's just that.
It's too old for me. Like I was like, wow, I'm glad Fire Emblem is not like this anymore. It's just, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I appreciate it made me appreciate Fire Emblem. I guess that's what it was out to do.
Definitely. I'll keep chugging along, see how long I'll go. Once I lose a soldier, I get very angsty. I'm just like, I don't want to play anymore if I lose one.
Do that.
Don't
That's
play
why
Pikmin.
I didn't play Pikmin.
Oh, Pikmin. No, they're dispensable. That's
No,
fine.
you're a monster.
The Fire Emblem characters I actually care about, and the ones one is done, it's like, ugh, oh no. So other than that, I've been playing this game that actually was in the Indie Direct, called Grindstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 25% off. It was $15. I'm like, you know what? This looks like a cool puzzle
People
game.
love that game.
It's pretty awesome. So basically, what you do is that you're this big, burly man inside this kind of like bejeweled, like puzzle filled with monsters with different colors. Right? It's like 3 different colors. The objective of your guy is to slay as much monsters as he wants or can. And you kind of have to connect the dots, right? Initially, you have to connect the same color. And then if you connect enough monsters, a gemstone pops up into that area as well. So once you're done like attacking the same color, that gemstone pops up, more monsters fill up, and then you can use that gem to change color. So you can now attack with one color, maybe you hit that gemstone in that area, and then you could change to a different color of monsters and use kind of like a trail like that. And so the objective is to kill as many monsters as you can in one go. Each arena is like kill 50 monsters or something like that. The catch is that once you fill up, once you're done attacking all the monsters and you're done with the level, you have to exit the door. And so the door unlocks and you have to get out of there. If you keep being greedy and like keep attacking monsters, these monsters begin attacking you. So certain monsters in the area get enraged. And if you end on a monster that's adjacent to that attacking monster, you get attacked as well. And so you have a certain amount of life in there. And so if you attack up to 3 hearts to yourself, you're dead.
So you have to decide when you exit the level? Is that
yeah. So so there are treasure chests that appear in the levels that are optional. And so you'll have to attack the monster that has the key and then get down to the treasure chest and then back up to exit the door if you want to. But yeah, that's as far as I've gone to it. There's probably a lot more mechanics to it. I've gotten a couple items. So that was basically, the levels, and you go back to the inn, and the inn has like, you can create items. Once you get blueprints from the levels, you can create like a shield where, you'll defend yourself of certain attacks if you want, or you can have, like I had a sword as well. We could attack monsters all around you. So it gets deeper and deeper, but I haven't gone to that level yet. But I like the art style of this game very much. Have you guys heard of Adventure Time? It's that art style. It literally is that, and it's so cool. Runs super well on Switch as well, and then if you play on handheld, it's also touchscreen. So if you want to, you don't even need Joy-Cons at all. I think it used to be an Apple game, or it is an Apple Arcade game.
Apple Arcade, yeah. I checked it out. I puzzles like that. I've never gotten into like puzzle games like that, you know. So I didn't give it a whole lot of time, but I was aware of it when it was announced in the Direct, and I do know that it comes pretty highly rated. A lot of people really like that game.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about it is you have to think about not just which monsters you're attacking, but the way you're attacking or the way you're going through the trail, because there's a best option to go for to get all the monsters and connect the dots. And, I like thinking like that. It doesn't make you, it's not timed or anything. So it's not pressuring you at all. It's more like you can watch a TV show or listen to a podcast or whatever, and then just, think about this game and go through the puzzle. So I think it's pretty neat. Cool. I'll keep playing it. I'm not like really involved with it, but if I ever just want to watch a show and I was like, I'll just pull this out and do a couple of levels. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this week in Nintendo, and let's start with the Indie Direct that hit. We got the announcement. It was a little sooner than I think most were expecting. Kind of came out of nowhere. Like, hey, we got an Indie Direct here. Spelunky 1 and 2 will hit Switch summer 2021. So not only will we get the new game, We will get the original as well. I know a lot of people who should be excited for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Fist of Fluffs.
Yeah.
The feline fighter brawler game with like some light physics and stuff, out early 2021. Very, Very Valet is a timed exclusive, out early 2021. Tunche, the hand-drawn Amazon forest hack and slash action game. I like that one. That one though looked really cool. It's more my style, right? The platformer, Castle Crashers, like kind of go beat up everybody. I thought that looked pretty fun. Should be out in March. Cyber Shadow, which is from Mechanical Head Studios, published by Yacht Club, which a lot of people know that. It looks like a Shovel Knight game, very much in that style. Out January 26th, includes amiibo support. You guys remember that?
I have a Shovel Knight amiibo. I should get this game. That's like the first time I heard amiibo support in game from Nintendo. I feel like in like 2 years. It's been a while. Wow, I know Age of Calamity has a little bit, but like that feels like
I think the last big one was Link's Awakening last year with the Dungeon Maker.
Yeah,
and that
Fire
one wasn't
Emblem
good.
It's another one.
Yeah,
but that's just bonuses, right?
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Calamity. It's just bonuses. Calico, a relaxing community sim where you build a cat cafe, launched right then and there.
It looks really cute. Cool.
Yeah? Did you try it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I might. Maybe I will. It looks really cute.
You thought about it, though.
I did think about
That's
it.
good. That's the marketing. If the marketing got you to think about it, if you considered it, that's pretty good. Because otherwise, it would have been on NintendoEverything.com, and you would have never seen it, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what the marketing's for. Alba, Wildlife Adventure, is out in spring 2021. I thought that looked cool.
That one looks cool.
I looked up a YouTube video. I don't know, like that game. I have questions. If I'm not mistaken, and I might be, because it's been a couple days since I remember all these things. I think in that one they possess like a coconut. It has like that Mario possession where you can like possess things that are in the world. If I have that right.
I don't remember this.
You don't remember?
I'm sorry.
Hang on, let me look it up because I don't want to be like completely off like that. Let's see here. Alba game. It's always good for podcasts. Wildlife Adventure. Yeah, no, I think this is it. Yeah, like she can go around and she can like take over, I think, other things that are on the island, and you can become like the animals and stuff. I think
you're thinking of something that was announced at the Game Awards.
Am I?
I don't know.
I think so.
Okay. I don't know.
I may have that wrong. Chat, somebody tell me. Somebody looked it up. Let me know. Maybe I have that backwards. Gnosia is a social deduction game. I know all the people were saying Among Us type things, like a narrative thing.
It is, and it's really interesting because it was the last Vita exclusive in Japan, and now they're porting it in English over here. I heard a lot of great things from this game, so
cool.
I'm interested.
Happy Game, psychedelic horror game, spring 2021. This is the one that I considered. This was the one out of all of them. I was like, that looks awesome. I want to get that game. Here's the interesting thing about that game. It's called Happy Game. That's the name of it. Really hard to find online. Like I couldn't find the website or anything. You type in Happy Game, Happy Game, like Happy Game in quotes game. Like I'm like, where is it? Like who makes the game? And I'm gonna have to go rewatch the thing.
That's not a good title, I don't think, because how are you gonna find it?
It was pretty hard to find. Let's see here. Super Meat Boy Forever out next week.
Came out a long time ago.
I think a lot of people
been around for
it's like, oh,
long. It's like, wait,
that's a game still.
That's true. No, it's been around for a while. I'm still trying to like on the side see if I can look up the album.
Okay, I looked up. There was something that was very similar to it, and it looked the same in the same concept that you just described, called Chia, TCHIA.
I think you're right.
Thinking of.
Yeah, I think you're right. Thank you for that correction, because I was gonna feel bad because when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's that game.
This Chia kind of looked cool to me too, but this also, I feel like these are the types of indie games that I say, oh my gosh, this looks really cool. I might want to get this, and then I never do.
Oh, right. I think I always get them. I'm like, I buy them for $14.99, and then I come on Shack, and they're like, it's not that good.
Yeah. And that's usually not
like, don't buy
it.
But I love taking those chances because they're doing things that other, you don't get to do, and that's why we love them. Grindstone, as Garrett just said, out. This is a big get. Right? I know a lot of people are excited on my Nintendo list, my feed. They were excited to see that one. Sizzle Reel. We got Cosmocrats. Hazel Sky, Trash Sailors, which has been around, floating around on the indie scene for a while, Finding Paradise when
Finding
the pass was
Paradise
around.
The sequel to, if anyone's played To the Moon, which came out on Switch.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like, I don't know if it's like counts as a sequel, but it's the same developers, and I think it's supposed to be like the next like part of it. I don't know if it's the same. I don't think it's the same characters. There's 3 games, so if you've played To the Moon, you will probably also like this. I haven't played it yet. It's on my long list.
I got both on Steam, so I got for like.
I played To the Moon on your.
One's like a bird story or something like that. Does that ring a bell?
I played the game off your recommendation and loved it.
Yeah, keep your eye on Finding Paradise then.
And then last thing, Rebecca, looking pretty sus over
here. Oh dang.
Among Us is out on Switch right then and there. It's $5, which is I don't want to say interesting, but it's free to play on mobile. It's free to play on PC unless you buy it through Steam. I guess I'm told.
I don't know what you're talking about free on PC. It is $5 on Steam.
I know it's on Steam. I ran into this with Elaine as well. I went to their website, and you can download the game from them, I believe, for free.
Okay. As a separate client, yeah.
Is there? Okay. On mobile.
If I go to, hang on, because she did the same thing. She was asking the same thing. I went to amongus.io, download for free. It's like right on the front page, like play for free.
.io, yeah.
Sure, yeah, I guess then. I would imagine there's ads on that because there are ads on the mobile version that's free. There's no ads on the Switch version. I would rather pay $5 to just get rid of the ads.
Sure, pay $2 on mobile to get rid of the ads.
Yeah. It's exactly the same. So I bought it on Switch. They copy and pasted it from mobile to, and
I bought it twice. I bought it on Jack and Victoria's account because they play this game religiously.
It's so popular with the kids. I told my students when, because I saw that it was releasing on Switch today, and they all have Switches and they all cheered. It was really exciting for them. There are some things that I wish they would tidy up with the game. I know it's a small studio. It's when you're trying to join random games, it's kind of hard to do. You have to try over and over to get into a game, refreshing over and over. Because if you try to go into a game, 9 out of 10 times it's going to say this lobby's full and it'll kick you out. Sometimes you'll get errors. I wish they would clean that up a little bit.
Is that just on the Switch version, or is that just the state of the game right now?
Yeah, that's everywhere.
So they just need more servers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing, I did like some of the not changes that they made for Switch, but like there's touchscreen support, so it's very easy to use. I find that to be a little bit easier than using like the controls and buttons. But they have labeled everything if you don't want it, like if you want to play it on the TV, for example. Everything's labeled very cleanly that like it's not hard. Some of the tasks are actually a lot easier to do with the buttons than with
That's what Jack was saying.
Touch, controls. There's the one task where you have to swipe the card, and if you do it too fast or too slow, it doesn't read it. You have to do it the exact right speed. On the Switch, if you just press the button and it's
that's nice.
So it's like you can't mess up the tasks. So it's kind of like a nice little easier way to play. Yeah. If you didn't want to use touch controls.
He liked the fact that we could play on TV because then like mom could watch and like participate more than when it's just by yourself.
I was gonna say the one thing that I could see as being problematic for it, if you're in a room with a lot, I know like I've seen people play in rooms with other people, and you can't see each other's screen when you're playing because you would know who is the imposter or not. The vibrations are very, very loud when you're doing tasks. So when I was playing, I was thinking if I'm in a room full of people, they would be able to hear the vibrations and know that I'm not the imposter. That I'm like doing weapons, every time you fire it, like you can do that. That's not going to happen.
HD Rumble, baby.
And I haven't found a way to turn that off. Maybe there is.
You just got to get the Hori Split Pad Pros, right?
Without
I
Rumble.
Guess so.
Can't you disable Rumble from like the system menu? You can just turn it off.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so maybe you can do that. But if you didn't know to do that, like I don't think there's a way in the game to turn it off either. Like it's loud. Like I get that they did it for the immersiveness, but if you're playing
the immersiveness of Among Us,
that very
how many ice cubes are in the Joy-Con while you're playing?
That's
yeah, you feel the wires attaching from the left to the right screen.
There is cross-platform support, so
Cross
You know,
play.
if you have a Switch and your friends have a phone or they're on their PC, like you can all play together.
I'm very surprised how it controls on the phone. I'm like, this is comfortable to play.
I've been doing touchscreen on the Switch even.
Yeah.
Well,
just because it's so natural.
Yeah. It's really nice.
My kids are excited. I interrupted their school.
Now, somebody asked me why I bought it on Switch if I have it for free on mobile. I like to still be able to use my phone while I'm playing it. If you go out of the app when you're playing it on your phone, it kicks you out of the game.
I see.
Now I can play my game and still text.
I don't like playing games on my phone. Like when we played that night together, I put it on my PC and like on my Chromebook and stuff. I was like, I don't want to do this.
That's completely fair.
Yeah, so
totally makes sense.
And my kids, they have their phones and they love their phones. And the moment I was like, it's on Switch, they were like, will you please buy it? Please, 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 please. So. And
how can you beat $5? I mean, the developers, they're putting out a new map. You know, we're getting a new map.
Yeah, just support them. Like, and honestly, that's why I bought 2 copies. I thought that they would want to play with each other, right? So the game share thing isn't going to work per se. So I was like, I'll just give them the $10. Like, obviously, my kids play the hell out of this game.
You're going to get that $10 out of it.
They play so much.
I wish that they threw like a little bone to Nintendo, gave us like exclusive little Mario hat or like something to show like,
that
hey,
would have been cool. On the Switch. I mean, that would have been cool to play devil's advocate. You're like, somebody's running around, a little sus with Mario hat, stabs another person, and then you take the screenshot of it.
Like, slice their head open with the Mario hat on, yeah.
You know, it's like, Luigi did it.
He's the murderer.
He's the murderer.
You can do that in any situation. There's other hats in the game.
Well, but it's not Nintendo's hats.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It'd have to be like a Mario map. But even then, maybe they're like,
yeah,
let's not murder everybody in Mushroom Kingdom. It'd be cool, though. I like it. It's like got a celebrity deathmatch type of appeal to me. It's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty fun. What if they leaned into it? It's like the new era of Smash. It's just like, hey, could you imagine that Smash commercial? Imagine me and you. I do. And then somebody just comes and stabs me. That's dark, isn't it?
Like gushing everywhere.
That's real dark. Yoshi's like, why?
Why are you doing this?
That's good. The whole time it was Peach the whole time.
Of course it was. She's the mastermind.
Bravely Default 2 got its demo last night, Garrett.
It did. I'm excited. Well, I played some of it actually today. Just a little bit, maybe like 30 minutes. Just a little bit of preface here. It is a time demo. It's they clock you in at 5 hours. Once you're done with your 5 hours, you're done with your save. You can replay it if you want and see if you want to go faster, go through it, whatever. But it's a 5 hour clocked save. They say it's nearly at the beginning of the game. I know it's not the beginning of the game because they're not, doing exposition or anything with the story. And the save does not transfer at all. I don't know if they'll do a bonus thing, if they recognize your save or whatever, but as far as I can tell, the save does not transfer to the main game. So I played a little bit of it. I got into a couple of battles, and the stuff that they said in the videos are true. So, yay, they improved the battle systems. They gave it a much fresher look, quality of life type of things in the battle system. So, overall, I'm satisfied. I'm at the point where it's still exposing me to story, and I'm like, why are you giving me story in a demo that I cannot transfer saves over? Like, I don't want to do this. I would rather just go through some battles and like,
it's just too much effort to like do their own custom thing.
Yeah, it was literally 20 minutes of like this prince in this kingdom and then the situation with your group. And I'm like, this is story. Like, I will play this in the game if I want to. So I'm more inclined to just stop now and just wait for the game because it's coming out in like 2 months.
I get that. That was kind of how I was with Calamity. Like, I jumped in, I did the first map, I got a flavor of it, and I was like, I'm done. I want to wait and just play the game.
I think that's what I'm going to do with this as well. But again, everything that they said in their videos, the way they improve it, and very detailed. So go back if you want to look at that. That's what they've done.
What is this like in your anticipation for next year? Like, how up there is this for you?
This is my next most anticipated game. Is probably in the top 5 most anticipated games of next year. It's up there, yeah.
So generally, like, favorable in the demo overall, like.
I really liked the original demo, and like even though it had some scaling issues and some problems there, I could see the potential inside the characters and the writing and also the battle systems. I just like that type of feel to it. It just seems like they've just done everything better at this point with the battle systems and the scaling. So I'm like, this is ready to go. I'm just ready to get into the story now and with the characters and see where this all follows through. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't have that long to wait.
That's true. And then Persona 5 Scramble comes like right afterwards or before. I'm going to have a mess like in February.
When we get back, we need to start like working up on a calendar. And I don't think it'll be that hard because we really don't know a whole lot, right?
Yeah,
like so far.
we don't.
We do need to start getting some info after the new year. Nintendo's got to start. They got to start filling in some of the gaps here because we don't really know what's going on.
Right.
But I got Persona Strikers to look forward to, but that's like the one just off the top of my head that I'm really thinking about.
And then the Mario 3D World.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, Mario. I got Mario, Strikers, and Scott Pilgrim.
Pilgrim, yeah.
Yep, be doing that too. So got some games to play. Let's see here. What do we got next? Oh, Doug Bowser did an interview. We were talking about him last week, right? We're like, hey, should he be out in front Reggie was? Well, he did an interview with Polygon, and you tell me what you think about it. On the topic of Joy-Con, he said, we've been working very closely with consumers if and when they might have issues.
Oh my gosh.
That's whether it's a replacement or a repair. And then what I will say, as we look at our repair cycles, we're always looking at what is being sent in and for what reasons and understanding that better. And without going into any details, it always gives us an opportunity to make improvements as we go forward.
So what improvements have been made, Mr. Bowser?
That was the most shoe-around answer I've ever read in my life.
And when they might have issues.
That's so corporate. It's like the most corporate response ever.
I read that. I'm like, no. Okay, I'm done. I was almost laughing at that point.
I did love it because he's like, he's like, we've been working very closely. He's like, have you? Didn't you shut down the repair shop? It's been shut down like all year long. They're just like back ordered Joy-Con forever. If and when we get the Switch announcement, that'll probably be I think the first thing I'll be looking forward. Whenever we see it, the first my eyes are going to direct right to Joy-Con. Is it removable? Can my old ones work? Is it new one? Is it a new design? That's exactly where I expect my eyes to go. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had that many issues, really. I think I've been of the team. I feel like I've been the least impacted by this. I've had lots of Joy-Con. I only had one that drifted, and I fixed it myself. But it's definitely a problem. It's absolutely a problem. Do you guys see in Europe, there are a bunch of different countries that are teaming together on this lawsuit against Nintendo?
Really?
Yeah, they're all
the Joy-Con drift issue?
Yeah, they're all pairing up together to prove that Nintendo has some, false, I guess, advertising with the...
So they're finally going to have to get their act together on this.
They're going to have to address it at some point.
Yeah.
Better than this. This addressing. On the topic of delisting Mario games, Bowser said, there are various ways that we're celebrating Mario's 35th. And with some of these titles, we felt it was an opportunity to release them for a limited period of time. They've done very, very well. Super Mario 3D All-Stars has sold over 2.6 million units in the US alone. I love this. So clearly, consumers have been able to jump in and enjoy that. And it's not a strategy that we're looking to be it's not a strategy we look to be using widely, but it is one we thought was very unique for the actual anniversary.
That is unique, of taking away a game that the rest of the people can't buy later.
What do you think about that, Rebecca?
They've jumped in and enjoyed it because this is their chance to do it.
They're threatened. They were given an ultimatum if they didn't choose to.
I think he also said something about, we're actually emphasizing celebration. We're celebrating for the anniversary, and that means we can't celebrate all the time. We have to take it away too.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm just like, what is this?
The fact that it exists.
I can't even imagine trying to talk your way out of why you're delisting a game.
Right.
It doesn't make that's okay. Here's my answer. He was asked on the topic of Nintendo Switch Online. He talked about how there's over 100 titles in Switch Online. They continue to look to improve it and all that. And then he was asked specifically, pointedly, What about Game Pass? When Nintendo do Game Pass, here was his answer. Bowser said the company wants to offer choice and mentioned that there is, quote, over a 8.0 attach rate to every Switch unit that's sold over the last 4 years. So no. The answer's no, is what he means.
Definitely not.
What this was a subtle flex. He goes, hey, guess what? They're buying all these games. So no, we're not going to do Game Pass.
Exactly.
No, okay, and I agree with you, but again, just to play the devil's advocate, I feel like he wouldn't be able to say anything even if they did have that in the work.
Nintendo America has no stroke.
Allowed to hint at it.
They have no stroke. You know what they get to do? They get to pick like limited edition colors. That's about the extent of the stroke that Nintendo America has over here.
And he might not even know at this point. Like I'm sure maybe he would be in the know for that kind of thing, but there's no way he would even hint at it.
Of course not.
That thing is
I actually think it's a very telling answer. The answer is no. Definitely
just not. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, having zero hope that they're ever going to do that. The answer is no.
He didn't say exploring the possibility or anything like that. He's like, look, consumers are buying our games.
Yeah, he was like, do you see how much we're selling? Absolutely not. That was basically the answer.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Switch Online thing was pretty interesting. I didn't write down the notes, but he did talk about how multiplayer seems to be driving engagement with that. I know I have like minimal engagement with Nintendo Switch Online at this point, but maybe there are people that are really enjoying it. I know the numbers, I think overall are pretty good. The value is there. We talk about that every year at renewal time, just how good the value is. Like, even if you don't use it, it's still worth having. The online alone is worth having, let alone, like I always say, Mario 3 by itself is worth giving them $20 a year for. Just do that.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
Did you see the Switch Pro type of question that was given to him?
I guess not.
So they asked him, hey, what about like a reiteration of the hardware? And he was basically like, well, we're selling a lot of units right now.
Oh, yeah. I think I do remember that quote. Yeah.
And he was like, to quote our other press meeting we had before, we're about the midpoint of our life cycle with this console. And that's all he said.
And
like,
for almost every piece of hardware they've ever made, sans the Wii U, around the midpoint of the hardware, they've recycled and released a new piece of hardware.
Right.
And it's funny that I appreciate that the media always pushes them, especially like the investors' calls. They always give them these targeted questions. I would appreciate it more if IGN and Polygon would add some of that to those questions. Like, instead of being like, hey, what about a Switch Pro? Being like, hey, for the 3DS and the DS and the Wii and the GameCube, like, you always did this little thing right about now. You gonna do it again? Like, I would love to do it that way.
He actually did it that way.
Oh, that's good.
The Polygon question. Yeah, he's like, in a lot of Nintendo hardware, you have done this in the midpoint of the console cycle. Are you gonna do this for Switch? And then he went back to like, look, we're selling as much like
we
the
can't
most
make enough
as
of
we
them.
can. Yeah, and it was like with the traditional console and the Lite, we're just enjoying how many people are buying it in the games that are selling. And
that's a good point.
Okay.
If we don't get one, I know I'm expecting one. If we don't get one, you can probably pretty much guess that they're probably just holding off until sales soften.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in disrupting an Apple cart that's just booming.
That's exactly. Yeah. You're reminding me of that. He's like, the momentum is up now.
Yeah. There's no point in disrupting it.
That's exactly
at
what
all.
he's saying. Yeah.
Now, if PlayStation 5 and Series X have an adverse effect, now would be time to introduce a new model.
Mm-hmm.
And then our last thing that we have in the news block before we get into a couple questions and talk about spoilers is the Smash Direct for Sephiroth, which I have known nothing about because I've muted because I am the excellent Nintendo podcast host that I am.
Great.
What happened, Garrett?
I'll go through it really quickly. So first off, they showed off the Mii Fighter costumes. And so we'll just, put the nail on the coffin right now. Tifa, Barrett, and Aerith and Chocobo costumes are out. So you got more Final Fantasy costumes there. And then you got Gino from Super Mario RPG.
Rest in peace.
And all those fans are just
that makes me so happy
right now. Yeah,
they were praying that they didn't see that logo pop up. And
the tears of unfathomable sadness.
I laughed when I saw the logo. I'm like, I see it now.
Definitely laughed out loud. I'm very sorry.
To be fair, that costume is not that bad. It looks really good. Like, it's not like, a
Dude,
cheap knockoff.
that's just a troll at that point.
It looks really good, actually. Okay, anyways, let's get into just a little bit of the details of the moveset of Sephiroth. He is a sword fighter. He's kind of a mix of like a brawler and a sword fighter. His main, kind of the novelty of him, he has a winged form. And that winged form can happen when he's damaged enough. And there's like certain weird conditions too, like when the opponent has much higher, or you have much higher stock than your opponent, then the wing form won't come out as much or whatever. It's kind of spontaneous, but the wing form, basically, you're faster and you're stronger. And that's pretty much what it does. It doesn't do much more of anything other than you're stronger. So other than that, I think the sword it's a very wide reach, man. It's like, if you're doing a regular battlefield, it might be like half the stage.
Wow.
It's just reaching. The issue, what I see with him, he doesn't have a wide hitbox. So if you're doing like a side A and like a character is like, on the laying on the floor on the ground, you won't be able to hit him. The sword points just straight to the side. So you have to be very precise where you hit your sword at all points.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
On next-gen consoles, you have the ability to pick and choose like the DLC and expansions and things that you bring into your game. Like if you don't want to play multiplayer, you don't have to play multiplayer. You can just download the demo. Is there a way of stopping Sephiroth from joining my Smash game? Like, can I just like act like he never joined? Can I just not update?
You bought the battle pass, right?
Right. Like, so can I refuse it?
The answer is no.
So like when it pops up, can I just like, no, let's just refuse it?
I think in the rules, I would have to check like matches. You may be able to block characters.
I'm trolling at this point. But just the stage and everything,
so
the music.
Funny. Like,
can we just?
That bad. You are so dramatic about Sephiroth. Like, it's not that bad of a character. He's like any other sort. Like, I know he's not like any other sword fighter, but like it's not that bad.
Right. I think it's a seminal character. Like it makes sense, and like it
definitely makes sense.
And it's like a big evil boss. It's like the last boss that that could be in Smash. He's very iconic.
Is it though?
I think.
Yes.
It is.
I don't play Final Fantasy. I have never played a Final Fantasy game in my life, but I know who Sephiroth is. I knew immediately who he was. Like, I know what he's like infamous for. Like, he's an iconic character. I'm sorry.
I'm not arguing any of that. I was just asking if I could elect to not join the party.
So, Donnie, the alternative costume, get ready for it. He's shirtless.
Ooh.
So you can have a shirtless.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a shirtless Shulk and a shirtless Sephiroth just going at it if you want to.
That's tempting.
That is tempting.
Could have had Xenoblade characters, but nope.
No.
That's worse.
Is it? Absolutely not.
Xenoblade characters, come on. Anyways, his major smash is a supernova, and other characters can get status ailments. So you can put a mushroom on them, or they're asleep, or they're dazed. You can have like stuff like that to them. The special is cool. So you know what the special is in Smash, Donnie? It's the B button.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, good. So it's actually a flare. And so there's 3 types of options. It's like, like Samus has a ball and just like it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And this one, you can like shoot a small ball, a mid-sized fireball, and then a huge fireball. And then like
fireball!
Pretty much. And then the coolest thing about the largest one, you can shoot at it and it takes a while to hit them. But if you hit a character, you can do another hit to them or a grab. And so you can immediately KO the character if you want to. So you get them with a massive damage and like hit them, smash A to the side to the stage, and they're done if you got them. Or you can hold them and like throw them up. I think that's a really cool thing about his special. And then lastly, I think his recovery's cool. So if he's trying to recover, he can actually jam his sword to the side of the stage and hold it there.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he can recover, double jump on top, and go back to the stage.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah. So that's kind of his movesets. It's
Sounds
not as novel.
Like a better version of Corrin.
Yes, it is, actually. I think they looked at Corrin and was like, I think we can make this cooler. Yeah.
I love Corrin. I wanted Corrin to be my main, but as a character,
it's hard.
I think she's not very good. Like,
No, it's rough.
A tough fighter. to master.
Yeah. So the new stage is actually a spoiler alert. It's like the end of the game of Final Fantasy VII, Northern Cave. I don't know if anyone knows about it. I didn't like watch much of the video, but it looks cool. It's just like, I don't know, very video game, extra dimensional type of stage. I don't know.
Fantastic. Cool. You excited?
I'm excited for this next thing I'm about to say. They actually have an event for Sephiroth. So starting today through the 22nd, you can, if you have the Battle Pass 2 or the Sephiroth DLC or whatever, you can actually try to beat Sephiroth and in this event. And if you beat them, you get the character. And you can get the character earlier than when it is released and the stage. So that's pretty much it. I think I will do that like this weekend sometime and see how Sephiroth plays. Sakurai, he was flexing a little bit in the video, and he went through each boss in that was it the World of Light? I don't know, the huge campaign thing. He went through each boss and destroyed them with Sakurai or with Sephiroth. It was just like, okay, he could deliver a lot of damage.
Not here to play.
Yeah.
I'm here to mess around.
Yeah. So,
cool. When's it out?
The 22nd, I guess, or
yeah, it's soon, right?
You can do the event now, though.
You could do the event now and get Sephiroth.
And the character's out soon. It's not like we're not going to be waiting for a while. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It's very soon.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's. We're an hour and 5 minutes, so let's do a couple of our questions before we do spoilers, Rebecca.
Okay, we have 2 questions that are not about Age of Calamity, so why don't I ask those, and then we'll save the other questions for after our Age of Calamity talk. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Steven wants to know, what indie game would you like to see get a physical collector's edition release? Mine already did.
That's what I was thinking.
Too.
The one that I wanted the most was Stardew Valley. There was not a physical edition for Stardew Valley, and they just came out with a collector's edition with a physical copy of the game. I bought it. It's beautiful. I love it. That's what I've always wanted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Golf Story. They had already got one. Ori got a beautiful one. I almost jumped on Ori, by the way, like a couple weeks ago over Thanksgiving holiday. I was looking at it, and they had restocks, and I was like, maybe. And the shipping was like $35. Like the whole thing was like $190. Like,
oh my goodness,
that's too much. It's already like $140. It's like shipping is extra. No thanks. Aren't they doing a physical for Scott Pilgrim?
Yes, he said
they confirmed they're working on
it. They said, yeah, they're working on it. And it's more like we're working with Ubisoft on it, but we understand Ubisoft's a big company.
Yeah.
It was that kind of
because it's interesting because I was definitely going to go Xbox just for digital, like for just digital futures. But because they're going to do a physical, I think I'm going to go digital on Xbox and then wait for the physical to buy on Switch so I can have the cartridge. I just value cartridges over CDs more.
Right.
The other one that I wanted that I just thought of that got a physical and a collector's edition was Undertale, and I ended up buying the physical copy of the game, but not the collector's edition.
That's good.
Got it. I had a few games. Wargroove originally did not have a digital or a physical copy. Eventually got one. Really nice, cool little physical collector's edition. And also Transistor is the other indie game I really, really enjoy. I still need to get the physical edition. I know it's on Best Buy.
Hades is a physical copy, doesn't it?
It does not. It's just digital right now.
Oh, that's interesting. So that one should definitely get one.
I'm sure limited run games will probably be doing something like that for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just very unaware, uninformed. I don't know if does Katana Zero have a physical copy?
I think it may have.
I think limited runs did do that one, or rare games.
I wouldn't mind having one of those. No More Heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bought them day they released, but I would buy them again if they had physical copies. Absolutely, I'd buy those. For sure.
Nice.
That's my answer.
All right. Delvin wants to know, if you could pick 3 Nintendo characters to go out and have drinks with, who would you choose?
What?
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay. How do you even answer this?
I didn't even like look at this question. Hold on, I got one, and I think he would be a fun guy to talk with. Professor Oak. I'm sure he has some stories, man.
Wow, I didn't
I
even
can see that
think
with
there.
you being, with your whole side of research and everything, and his.
I just have a few drinks, and like it's like, hey man, what have you done with Pokemon? What's your craziest?
Do you have a
exploration
Pokedex?
of
Can I
interest?
see it?
Exactly.
I don't know. Rebecca?
Like I don't know Mario characters, right? They just speak one word, right?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what is it? How does this even work? But I was thinking almost exclusively Mario characters. So,
oh, okay.
Bayonetta. Does she count?
Yeah.
She counts now, right?
She's an Nintendo character at this
Sure.
point.
Travis Touchdown.
Okay.
Does he count?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's launch exclusive, right?
All
Exclusive
of
No
the
More Heroes
Nintendo
3.
characters that you want to go have drinks with aren't really Nintendo characters.
I know. I think that says a lot about Nintendo characters. Like, do I want to go have drinks with Link?
All
One,
right.
he probably doesn't drink.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm going out with Princess Zelda, Princess Rudo, and Malin, and we're all getting drunk and talking about how hot Link is.
Do you think Princess
Is that
Zelda
really
drinks?
what's gonna happen?
That's really what's gonna
I don't
happen.
think she drinks.
I think Zelda would
He
be
said,
like,
okay, he actually put in a little. I didn't include this in the question. He also said non-alcoholic drinks are an option. He did say
Okay.
that.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I like your answer. Your answer's really good.
Thank you.
I feel like it'd be creepy if I said the same answer and then talk about how hot another Nintendo character is. I don't think that works on my end. People would be like, weird, dude. Don't. Oh, have you seen the internet? So I don't know. I'm going to stick with mine.
Either.
I don't know.
I would just, any
Yoshi?
kind of no.
What?
Yoshi would be pretty cool at a bar.
We're gonna talk about Link.
Yoshi would be an excellent wingman. What are you talking about? Everybody would stop and see Yoshi.
Can he even reach for a drink? He has.
Yes, he can. Up.
Okay,
He just and grabs one. That'd be sweet.
Oh, actually, it's like Yoshi. Yo, I dare you to give
Yoshi,
me a bottle.
I need that bottle over there.
Yeah, right there. just with your tongue, you do that.
That's a weird question, Delvin. It's a really weird question, man.
I love it.
Delvin, I liked it. I took your question very seriously.
I've had Star Fox drinks.
Oh,
I bet you could hang out with the.
Very heavy.
You could hang out with the Star Fox crew.
He would get like a Guinness. Like he would definitely.
All of them. The
Yeah.
Star Fox crew.
Oh,
Change my
yeah.
answer. That works. That fits.
Well, he's not invited.
Any Xenoblade characters? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Pyra's hot. Like if Rebecca gets to do it, so do I. Like Pyra's hot. I'll take Pyra out for drinks any day. For sure.
I think we all know that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Age of Calamity time.
Age of Calamity time. All right, listen here. It's 1 hour, 11 minutes. If you do not want to hear about Age of Calamity, we didn't even think of Fire Emblem characters. Oh my God.
Oh,
Garrett.
What?
There's an endless world of characters to go drink with from Fire Emblem. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I've revoked that. All my answers. It's just my waifus in Fire Emblem.
That's it.
Okay.
It's Camilla.
That's it. Camilla. 3 Camillas, please.
Corin. Girl Corin. The only Corin. Don't give me any of that other thing.
Best Corin.
Best Corin. Yes. Definitely all of those. All right. So it's Age of Calamity time. If you do not want to hear anything talked about the story or the ending or special characters or anything like that, turn off now. You've been warned. Donnie has warned you. I shouldn't have. I should have just busted right into it and made you hate your day.
We're also talking about things post game.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Spoiler talk.
Making sure it's completely clear.
It's all out there.
Before we get into this, most important news that we forgot: Donkey Kong Country 3 is coming out on Nintendo Switch Online.
Is that really?
Yeah. The trilogy is done. We're finished with SNES collection. All right, we can go into spoilers.
I'm glad we did the entire show and we didn't even reference that they added games to it.
I was like, is Donnie gonna pull it? No, he's not.
They put that tweet out. I was like, I'm so over this. Like, I just don't want this
I
anymore.
made my Twinfinite headline. I don't know if you saw. I said 5 more classic games added to Switch Online, and none of them are Earthbound.
None of them are Earthbound.
That was my headline.
Nice.
Donkey Kong Country trilogy. Let's go.
Okay, it's Jericho time. You just finished the campaign, Rebecca. You finished it last week, so now we can finally. I think we start there. Now that we've all finished the campaign, I gave a lot of my review impressions, but now we can go a little more in depth on it. Have any of your opinions changed at all since we talked about it? Like, how your kind of overall take from the game now?
somewhat have changed, but I wouldn't say like drastically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing. I think it was a great ending, and I think they pulled it off really well. It was a great presentation.
I would agree with that. It was a good ending.
Yeah, it's sort of predictable, but I'm just like, you know what? This is a great ending. I'm okay with this.
They definitely
really
Avengers it. It was just like Marvel's Avengers, the Zelda story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing for me is, and we talked about this before the game came out, we knew how this was going to end. I'm pretty sure we specifically said we knew that the Egg Guardian was either going to sacrifice himself or we would have to kill him. Turns out we did both.
Yep.
But I think to me, the way that we got there is different than we anticipated.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think you liked that, Donnie.
Nope.
I am okay with it.
I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm okay with it. I think there's a difference between being okay with something like it was fun and I even enjoyed it. Is it what I wanted? Is it what I would have preferred or expected? No. And I think that it comes into conflict because it was sold as a prequel. But it's not.
Yeah.
It is.
It really was.
But it's not, right? It's not. It's not the prequel of the story we had. It doesn't really change or add anything to the story we had at all, so it's not. It's like a standalone, it's like its own thing. I would have preferred, I thought we were expecting, and I was excited for a true prequel. To see this thing that added to, expanded this universe that I fell in love with so much. The moment that you take the time travel and you cheap your way out of it, which is what I kind of consider the story, doesn't change the fact that I think it was good. It's still a cheap attempt at kind of doing it without doing it. And I would have preferred they actually attempted to do what they told us it was.
I don't think it's a cheap attempt. I mean,
I think from the beginning with these developers, they grew this as this is not going to be canon. I think with the Zelda storyline.
I thought they said it was canon.
they never used the word canon.
Oh, okay.
But I thought they
definitely
more,
sold it like this is a prequel.
They sold it like this is
they never used the
before
word
Zelda.
prequel either.
They didn't sell it as a prequel. They sold it as like this timeline is before
That's
Breath of the Wild.
truth, though. That's
Yeah.
not a lie.
That's not a lie. No, for sure. It's like this is about the war
In
This is
time,
about
but
the Calamity.
technically, the timeline is different. As a different timeline.
It is.
It's a completely separate timeline.
They didn't sell it that. They just held that back.
No, because that would have majorly spoiled it.
I say cheap because I think it would have been harder to write out the way that we all expected it to be. Remember when we were leading up to it, we had long conversations of what we expected and what we were hopeful, and we wanted to see it. We wanted to see the destruction, and we wanted to see everybody go down, and we got none of it.
And I don't think they were brave enough to have an ending like that, because what about all of the people who are playing this and didn't play Breath of the Wild?
Fair.
That's true.
That was what I think how they approached it.
I think they weren't brave enough to do it because it's just not Nintendo. I honestly, I got halfway through the story and I was like, I know where this is going. They're
exactly where it's going.
They're just going to Mario this. We're all going to win at the end. Like, I know exactly where this is going.
When there was time travel with the Breath of the Wild characters coming in, and I'm like, we're playing them. I'm like, okay, this is exactly where it changes. You know, exactly in the time point in that game where it changes. From
I did Sidon first, and the minute I saw Sidon, I knew it was going to be a happy ending kind of thing. Like,
yeah. And I was excited at the initial reveal and concept of this game. I was excited for something else. I wanted something else, and it doesn't mean that I'm upset that I didn't get what I wanted. I just kind of feel like that's what they sold, right? That was kind of the intent, is that they sold that other thing. So I wanted it to be that thing more than what we got. But what we got was okay. It was okay. I liked it.
I liked the final mission a lot. I liked the cutscenes in there.
I liked the cutscenes. I didn't like the mission.
Okay. I liked the plot twist to it.
I did too. I did like the plot twist.
It was a Tarako or whatever. Yeah, he like, you're facing him alongside with the other bad guy. I'm like, that's actually kind of epic and cool on my end, and I have some emotional weight to that character. It's like I'm gonna have to beat him.
And that's kind of the stuff I was saying. Like, even though it wasn't what I was expecting or what I wanted, I did kind of appreciate what was happening. By the time I reached the end, I felt they had almost endeared myself to the story. Would have preferred the other story. I would have preferred the other story.
That's completely fair. I feel like it was a very big lead up to what we got. to me. Like it felt like all the chapters were like just recruiting and going and doing, and it didn't really.
Do you agree with like my spin in the wheels thing? Like that middle section feels like, I don't want to say not a lot is happening because you're definitely doing stuff, but it's not really essential or important. And then that final act is like, here's the story. Like all of it is shoved into like that final last 2 chapters. You know, I would have liked to have more story.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. I do think the ending was worth it, though. I 100% agree with you that I got so sick of fighting those stupid.
Oh my gosh.
The stupid Lionels.
Oh my god.
It's not even hard
Here's
anymore.
a Lionel. Here's 2 Lionels. Here's 4 Lionels. Here's electric Lionel. Here's fire Lionel.
You have to do it all.
You know what the final boss is? It's a Lionel in this
Oh
game.
my god. And then like that final, I think it's the penultimate mission where you're like at the gates, right? And you have to fight, is it the Hinox? And there's 3 of them, and you got to keep going back.
And then they respawn.
And then the Blood Moon, it's like, do it again? I was like, get the fuck out of here. This is so stupid.
You told us about that, and I'm like, oh man, I have to go redo it again. And then I redid it again, and then it happened again. And
it happened again, yeah.
That's why I said that. I was like, man, Blood Moon. Oh my god, I've never hated
They really
Blood
wanted
Moon
to
so
stretch
much.
that game, man.
They stretched
I don't know why.
It felt so stretched. That was
after a while.
in my original review. That's why I said it felt padded, and
It is.
there's a difference between like padding and repetition. Like a Muso game is repetitive by its very nature, but as long as you're introducing new elements and new reasons for what you're doing, the gameplay, even if it's repetitive, can be fun. I think as long as you have motivation to do so. That's where I differed with Hyrule Warriors. Whereas Hyrule Warriors had like its own little different story and its different characters, and even like towards the end of the game, you were doing like Ganon and like all these other missions. It just felt so different. Whereas in this game, I was like, I don't want to fight this Hinox, this Lionel anymore. Like, who's the who's the villain?
I forgot his name. Crap.
Astor.
Yeah, but not him. I was thinking Master Koga.
Master
Koga, right?
Yeah.
Koga?
Yeah,
I was thinking, I was like,
Koga,
when I said Koga, I was like, that's Pokemon, that's wrong. And I just kept, Master Koga, it's like, I don't want to fight him anymore. Like, he kept showing up. I was like, go away. I have beat you over and over and over. How many times are you going to trot this guy out here?
Wait, that's one is playable later, right?
Yeah, you get to play him later.
Okay.
Yeah.
He comes and bends a knee and all that.
He was interesting to play as, actually. I actually enjoyed playing as him.
I liked playing as him as well. I do agree with that. He's got some cool, like, abilities.
It's silly. Very, like, comedic relief type thing.
For sure.
He's got that laser beam going, and
I just wish they'd, I wish they'd fleshed it out. That's where I was thinking, like, I would have liked if they'd introduced a few new characters and gave this story some meaning in that regard, something new.
Yeah.
One of my criticisms that I brought up on our show that I'm interested to hear your guys' feedback on is I think after I beat it and I was reflecting on my experience, I was a little, I don't want to say upset, that's not the right word. I wish they wouldn't have followed the Breath of the Wild formula so much, because it felt a lot like I was like almost replaying Breath of the Wild. Like you hit the map, you're doing the same, champions, you kind of go in that order and then you get them back. I was like, I kind of wish some new characters, new story, maybe didn't follow that plot line, maybe we didn't end at the castle, that it was just a little mixed up and felt new, like a new experience.
I was okay with that, but I wouldn't have minded some new things as well.
Like,
I didn't the following of the Breath of the Wild.
It's tricky because I understand the nostalgic pull that they were going for, and I liked that. But at the same time, it's like, we've done that. Like, we did that.
It was always centered around the Guardians in the castle. Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more than just the guard. Like, right, we went to the champions, and then a little bit happens with the forest. Okay, now we're going to have to rescue the champions from the Guardians again. I'm like, okay, we're just going back to these Guardians. Why? Like,
yeah, it's very, very repetitive. The one thing that I really liked, though, was the development that we got from the characters that we didn't see in Breath of the Wild. We got to see the champions a little bit more in depth.
For sure.
Which is what I really wanted, because we didn't get Breath of the Wild. Zelda finally got her character development. We clearly see her, as she doesn't have that confidence, and she becomes, that kind of commanding
when
leader.
She's up there on the wall.
Wild.
Oh, it's so good.
We wanted that in Breath of the Wild, but we didn't get that. So and she's a leader now.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that happened to her, because I was getting tired of it, and I was like, come on, why are you being a wuss, Zelda? Come on, just get your power.
Would have done without the revival of, her father. I feel like that was,
just coming
like
back or whatever.
I totally thought he died. Did you guys?
I thought he did too.
Yeah, I totally thought he died. I was like, that's how he dies. He's dead.
That's what I wanted you to think.
Well, that little piece, right? I think it's just a butterfly effect right there.
Yeah.
It's kind of that's. I always feel like that's kind of cheap writing. It's just like a really easy device plot that you can pull out to explain anything,
Hey man, when time travel is in there, anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
At that point.
I wanted that darker game. That really
I wanted that darker game
that
too.
added to that experience that we had. I just wanted that before we went to
Star Wars
the next
Episode
one.
3, just like everything just going down, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have too. I definitely would have preferred that. But I mean, I've seen people complaining, oh, of course there's, time travel and split timelines, as if that hasn't always been a staple of the Zelda series. Yeah. This isn't new. This is, if you are not okay with time travel or split timelines, you probably shouldn't be playing Zelda games, because that's at the core of most Zelda games.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-universe.
That's a link
type of things. Yeah,
between time.
I like you. I would have preferred a darker ending
to the past.
But I think maybe we were probably
Between
expecting
worlds.
too much, thinking that they were gonna have a crushing ending where we had to all die and just doom, and it opens to the Breath of the Wild. We were probably.
I just wanted to see Link chopped down, ushered to the Shrine of Resurrection, under duress,
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you. I will say though that there was the one part in the game that I really liked. I think it might have been either the end of chapter 6 or the beginning of chapter 7. Somebody told me switch to Link for this part because I wasn't playing as Link, and I'm glad that I did. It was the part where you're going up kind of the hill there, and then you're going through the Shrine of Resurrection, and it's you're coming into Breath of the Wild.
I actually played as Link through that.
I think playing through Link makes that experience so much better.
When I played the game, you remember I was telling you there was a part where I was wanting to almost quit, and then I played that part of the game.
Yeah,
and
wasn't that cool?
That was the part I was like, this has totally brought me all the way back in. I'm glad you reminded me of that, because it really that's the part that kind of sucked that I couldn't talk about with anybody. I beat the game and I was like, oh man, this felt so great to run back out and come down the hill again. It's it's all here. Let me go. I want to go.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And you can actually go. I went to go find the little fire where the old man was, which I was wondering, why is that there? Because technically that shouldn't have happened. It was cool. It was very cool.
Eternal flame. That fire is always there.
There you go.
I wanted to ask you guys about this. I guess I'm still confused on part of the story, and that's when it was in the memories of Zelda as a child, and that sequence. I guess I wasn't catching it or whatever. Did she time travel too? Is okay? So what happened to her? Because it was one moment where she was talking about her mother, and then the next point that she jumped, right? She time traveled, and it's just her father there. That was
meant to say your mother died?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought that was a time travel jump or something. Oh,
no, I think and then the whole point was the egg guardian kind of got her through that tough time.
Yeah.
Was I
and it had all of her memories, and it was kind of her confidant and her support for that.
I totally like that. I thought she was from a different timeline. I thought that was it for some reason.
Good job, Nintendo.
And then she got a little bit older, and then her father was like, okay, you need to be focusing on your
yeah, I thought more just time passed.
And then he was
got it.
Yeah.
Put into the box, and where he was in the box is kind of where he was when the game started.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
I'm
sorry?
Wait, what?
I cried twice during it when we had him tears, and then
emotional.
When he was sacrificing himself, I cried during both of those parts.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm trying to figure out if I want to play more. Every time I beat the game, I'm like, I don't want to go back to this. I think I want to get the little robot resurrected or whatever, but
I want to do that too, but I've heard it's a big commitment.
Really?
I've heard
I initially did a lot of icons. Like probably the first even half of the game, I was doing everything, everything you could think of, and even grinding to the point of grinding. And then I got burnt out really quickly. And I was like, okay, I just want to be done with this game. And by this, like the last mission, I didn't want to level like anyone, just my main characters. And then once I was done with the game, it's like, all right, you got all these icons to do and resurrect the little robot. And I'm like, 30 hours, I'm good. And Laurel, I saw his tweet or his message, whatever. He's like, yeah, I 100%ed it. It took 60 hours. I'm like, I am not doubling the time of my hour count on this game to 100% this. So I think I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah. I think if there was a little bit more variety in the gameplay, I might be more willing to go back and do it. I did go and watch the kind of secret ending type thing.
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah.
I did as soon as I finished the game. I watched that, and then I looked up a guide for how to do it, and then I realized the collectathon that was in. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'm good.
Rough.
When you can just watch it on YouTube. But I mean, I see a lot of people going and doing 100%. Props to them. You know, they really enjoy this type of game. They enjoy those types of missions.
That grind.
I'm not one usually to 100% games anyway, so I won't be doing that. I probably will go and maybe unlock some of the other characters that I didn't unlock yet.
Did you unlock the fairy?
I didn't. No.
Oh, okay.
I unlocked the fairy, and I set out to unlock the Sheikah, and then I did one trial, and then I didn't have any more like material. You have to do like Lionels and stuff, and I was like, no thanks, I'm done.
I unlocked both characters. Sheikah was kind of cool. I actually like that character a lot.
It's not like Impa, right?
Not Impa. He's the monk dude.
Right, but he plays like Impa.
No,
like, doesn't he have like all the spells and stuff?
No.
Okay.
Oh, he's very different. I've gotten him to the point of like him summoning a shrine on top of enemies.
Oh, that's cool.
And you hear the sound that do 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 do, and like you hit the ball inside the slot and you just slam them into the shrine.
Playing as him, I felt like it was just very hard to handle.
He's hard to handle, but once you get enough moves out of him, once you unlock the moves, I'm like, he's kind of powerful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Fairy was the most annoying one.
Are those the only two ones to unlock?
Yeah.
You can unlock Ganon and Terraco.
Ganon too. Okay, I didn't know about.
You
Ganon.
can play as Calamity, Ganon, and Terraco.
Yeah.
Oh. So do I guess do you have to repair him to do that?
Yeah.
Well, that might.
You got to do like all the 50 pieces.
It's a lot of pieces around the map.
And
yeah.
The person I was watching on YouTube was like, "It takes a minute," and I was like, "No thanks." For somebody who was just like, "I can't believe this game is as long as it is."
Thing is, like, I want to unlock it, but what am I going to do? I'm not going to keep playing it after I unlock the characters.
You get to play as Terraco. You get to go around and be the egg.
What would I do? Like, I'm going to go replay.
You're going to 100% the game.
You're going to go fight more people as egg.
I'm going to do that. So.
Right. I think that's
the point.
Yeah, I feel like that's the level-headed response.
For people who love this gameplay, I get it.
Sure.
I'm not. But I got what I wanted out of it.
Did you guys notice during the loading screens, you can move Terraco around?
You can, yeah. So they have different icons depending on, like, I think whoever's kind of in your party, right? And then you can kind of move it around.
I did not know that.
You can move Terraco with the bumpers, and then you can press B to jump him, and it's kind of cute.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did tell you in our first initial review that it reminded me of how long load times are. That was definitely one I was like, oh yeah. I forgot. So I was looking at my phone a lot.
Yeah. So
I think that's really all I had to say about the story.
Anything else before we get into some of the questions about it?
I liked it. I liked that the map was ingrained the way that it was. I liked the materials were ingrained the way that they were. I thought that was cool.
I wish, sorry to cut you off there because it just reminded me. I wish that there was a way to buy more like health items, and I wish it wasn't like just apples, because I was frequently running low on the apples, and I kept going to like the early levels to grind for them because I wasn't finding them naturally enough like as I was playing. I wish I could take like whatever materials I found or like money, like if one of those stables just sold freaking apples.
Like freaking apples.
Watch me stream, like I felt like every couple missions I had to go back and grind to go get more healing items.
That's interesting because I didn't. Yeah, I can't. I don't have.
better at the game than I am, I had to heal a lot.
Were you like breaking all the trees and boxes and stuff along your way? Because I found them a lot in like boxes and things in the corners and stuff.
I found a lot of rupees. I feel like maybe I was getting unlucky and just finding a lot of rupees. I wasn't really going out of my way to smash the boxes and trees.
Yeah.
And
cut grass.
I did them when I found them.
It was random. It's just it happened often, or it didn't happen as much.
Okay.
I had to go back. You know what I did was I went back to the first level in Hyrule Field, and just playing through that level would max out my apples.
Interesting.
I loved the one thing that I really appreciated was you get the upgrades kind of like on the runes, and then like they can start to pinpoint you to missions that have the items that you need to do things. I thought that was a really nice touch because that map is super busy, and for like the first 4 chapters I knew I needed stuff, but I didn't know where it was or what to do. Like until I unlocked that, I was like, I'm not doing any of that. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. It's like, you need this. I'm like, where is that amongst this 70 icon mess?
So I just went to all the side missions, and I'm like, oh, that's a free side mission. I'll go do that.
Yeah, because you were saying you were doing them all.
I was doing everything.
I did a lot of them, but I didn't do them all. Definitely did them all. And then towards the end of the game, that final third, I didn't do any.
I leveled every single character up to 50 something.
I was around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, I had a few. I think I leveled everybody up to at least 40, but I had my party like 3 or 4 folks that were like 60 something by the time I finished.
No, okay. I did a little bit differently where I just kept my favorite, 3 or 4 and just kind of kept them.
Just went that way.
Recommended level, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I kept buying everybody. So like, I played mostly as Link. I already said that in the review. I played mostly as Link on the way through. So he was the highest level. And then I would bring, early on in the game, I played a little bit of Zelda. I didn't really like playing as Zelda.
No.
I think she's my least favorite character.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our questions because that actually is one of our questions.
Okay.
Adam wants to know your favorite and least favorite character to play as.
Impa's dope.
Impa is the best.
Impa's really fun to play as.
That's my favorite until I unlocked Riju, and then I played
Riju's good too.
As Riju.
I like playing as Mipha. I did like playing as Mipha.
Who's the rock character that traveled back? What's his name?
Nobo.
Yeah.
He was in my final mission. I loved playing as him.
I wanted to play as Daruk more, but he's really slow.
He is a slow man.
Really slow.
Yeah, that's why I didn't play as him.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, you've got to go faster.
And then did you guys play King Rome?
I didn't.
I haven't tried him.
Oh, he's so good. Oh my gosh, he's really
Because I didn't unlock him until it was like at the end of the game, and then I beat the game. And
he was in my final mission.
But I haven't tried yet. I didn't try him. I didn't try Tiba.
Which one's Tiba again?
The Rivali counterpart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's actually okay. If I actually understood his moveset a little bit more, he was pretty good. Okay. He was pretty good. I actually love the counterparts more than the original champions.
It's because for some missions, they made us at least try them. Like, they made us try Sada, and they made us try Riju. So I fell in love with Riju when I played as her. They didn't force us to play as Tiba. It just ended. They didn't make us play. I never tried him. It was
a lot of side missions around him, though. That's the thing. It's all the extras. And I guess talking about a little bit more about missions, some of them were broken. Like, it was so hard to beat some of these side missions because of the time limits.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them were like very relaxing. And then others, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on my 7th try to figure this out. And
were you playing on like super hard?
No, I was normal.
Okay.
Yeah, on a normal stage. I guess there was actually one mission in the water area that I just always cut close. Okay. And then another mission that really aggravated me in the beginning was Zelda's new power training mission. You have to beat 1,000 enemies in a time limit. And I got to a point on the last, the last bit of it where I couldn't get it. And then you restart at a certain save point in that mission if you want to. But I was so far behind that I couldn't do it. And I had to restart the whole mission in order to get that done.
Well, I was going to say I kind of liked how forgiving the game is. It didn't send you back very far if you did fail a mission in most cases. And in a lot of cases like that, didn't it refill up your hearts in some cases too?
It refills your hearts, but if I can hit the time limit.
Yeah, that's where
it's insane sometimes. So.
Absolutely. West had a similar question. Your all-time favorite character play is including secret unlocks. Did you have? I mean, I know we didn't
Not really, but my least favorite character is definitely the fairy.
really.
I don't. Yeah, she's just so big, and like, so a lot of monsters can hit her. It's so weird to move her because she's not actually moving with her legs or anything. It's like a diglet, just moving around like a hole. And I'm like, what is this?
I haven't even seen gameplay of this, so I can't.
That I have,
Oh,
yeah.
she's whacked out, and like you transfer between fairies. It's like the 4 different fairies, and it's all the same character right there. But
No,
yeah,
I didn't like the monk. What I played of him.
okay.
And I didn't like Zelda. Unfortunately, I liked her. What was the second form that she got
When
called?
she unwakes her powers,
like
that was
that
good. But tablet Zelda, no thanks.
No,
I don't
hate
like
the tablet
either,
Zelda.
to be honest.
And then the other one, I wasn't a huge fan of the new one either, even though I thought it was an improvement. I had trouble when she was floating very high. I couldn't get her to not do that. Like, I felt like it was just too frustrating to play as her.
Yeah.
I like playing as Master Koga. I like playing as Mipha, but I played the game when possible. I probably played the game as Link probably 90% of the time.
I played Impa exclusively until I got to Riju, and then I played as Riju whenever I could, and when I couldn't,
On missions where you had to bring like a party or two, it was always Impa and then Zelda, and then I would throw in like Koga or whoever, like usually probably whoever my newest unlock would be that 4th person.
I was always Impa, Riju, Zelda, and Link.
That's why I like the side missions. I was forced to explore the side character, so I feel like I've gotten a taste from every single side character that I got, and then I've also leveled up the weapons and everything like that. It was just a little too much at the end. It was hard to keep up with the levels with all of them.
I liked really fighting the Guardians, and I really enjoyed fighting.
Yeah.
I enjoy the Musou style in Zelda games. That's why I liked Hyrule Warriors so much. And on the action combat side of this game, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, me too.
I felt very empowered going to fight, a Hinox or a Guardian.
The
It's like,
100th time, yeah.
even then, it's just like, oh, you're about to get messed up.
Right.
So yeah, then that's why you feel superpower in these type of games. That's the things you like
It
about
feels very satisfying once you know a character and like know it's
you got all their
like,
combos, and you start chaining them together, and then with this, and like the rune specials were a fantastic touch. The rune specials were
definitely.
so good. I struggled with the arrows a little bit because like when you bring them up, and I think even not so much the bombs, because the bombs are like a shotgun. Like once you pull it up, they just start going, so you can aim them. But like when you try to aim with any precision, like those motion controls, I was like,
it was a little weird.
I felt like it always started me like 10 feet higher than I wanted the aim to be.
Yeah, the starting position's off.
Like I wanted it to calibrate. It's like, no, I didn't want to shoot there. So it always. Go ahead.
No, I mean, just there were a lot of like little frustrating things like that I was going to talk about, and then the camera angles gave me so much trouble in certain times where like I felt like I just wasn't oriented in the right spot, or like I would get closed behind, like pinned in between the enemy and the wall and not be able to leave, and like the camera would just be like behind the wall and I wouldn't be able to see my character or what I was doing, and I couldn't free myself from that because of how the camera was oriented. That just it made me so frustrated.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Overall fun game.
Yeah. No, I liked it.
We do have more questions. Zach wanted to know, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much better was the fight with Calamity Ganon from Age of Calamity versus Breath of the Wild?
I mean, it was better. It was better.
It was better, but uneventful.
I don't think it was better. I think his design was better. I really liked visually how he looked. But to me, the fight was just more of what we've been doing the whole game. Like, I don't really anything too different about this fight.
It felt like that final, and I say the final, one of the things I didn't like about this game is I felt like it was final like 4 times. It was the final and then the final and then the final and then the final. It's just, but the final time when you were all together and like all the gardens came and everybody, like, that was cool. It felt like a bigger set piece than I found the original battle to be.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I was thinking more of like the actual battle mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Even then, like in the original game, when you're fighting, like out in the field, you're just kind of like going around shooting the arrow and stuff. I was like, is this really how we want to end this amazing game. That left me really upset.
Yeah.
That wasn't so good,
I
right?
think conceptual, I liked that better, but you're right. It felt very like it wasn't urgent. It
Yeah.
felt like it was trying to be what Twilight Princess was at the end.
It was kind of relaxed and kind of easy and
Yeah.
not very like epic at all.
It looked like it should have been. Like if you take a screenshot from that, it looks really epic. But you're right, it's relaxed.
Yeah.
It's like, so what do I do again? Oh,
And then
We just shoot this, just lob this thing. I got it. Okay.
I assume most people took down all 4 divine beasts before they defeated Ganon, and that takes away half of the fight for you.
Yeah. Yep. And then like Thunderblight Ganon, like they're more of a challenge even. You know, like those battles in terms of gameplay wise definitely tax you a little bit more. That's another thing about this game, and talk about the blights. Here's Thunderblight Ganon. Here's Thunderblight Ganon on fire. Here's Thunderblight Ganon on fire with armor. It's like,
He flees for now.
I hate the fleeing crap. Just stop, okay? I know I'm gonna fight him again.
I really liked how Ganon looked. I really liked how the Divine Beast looked, design-wise. I really liked.
Yeah. We talked about the Divine Beast missions. You really, really like them, Rebecca, still, even as you finish the game?
No.
Okay.
Good.
She's walked that back a little. It's interesting after the 3rd or 4th, 5th time, you're like, okay.
The first one, I really liked it. I went back and I really liked the first one. The other ones, no, I was done.
Yeah.
I was like, so this is what we're doing.
This was like we're not going to pad it out. We're going to let you be the beast. Like that was their thing.
Yeah, I think they could have done that better too.
I think they were hoping that was going to land differently.
The little tiny dots just exploded right in front of you.
It's like the whole game. And I mean, I don't want to just throw visuals and stuff, but like that part of the game, it's like it instantly like cut the resolution and textures and everything in half.
That's not even the problem of it for me. It just felt pointless.
Yeah, that's too.
That too.
That too. But it would have been less pointless if it looked really cool. You know, like that's a part of it. It didn't look really cool at all. So
Ren wants to know, do you think giving the IP to Tecmo was to handle such an important story was a good idea?
I'm pretty sure Nintendo told them the story that they were going to write.
Yeah.
Nothing gets published about Zelda without Eiji Aonuma's signature on it.
I don't think it would have mattered if it was a different developer telling the story. We wouldn't have had that dark ending in any developer case.
100%. And just to, I mean, you said about Koei Tecmo and Omega Force. I love the story of Hyrule Warriors, and that's why I prefer that game over this game. I think what they did with the timelines and everything and weaving it all together was awesome, and it made that game had so much fan service. So, no, I mean, I think they've shown they could, you know, like, there's a story in a game that they've developed that was really good. How much involvement they have with it, I don't know.
I guess I don't know how much involvement the Omega Force has in these stories.
Probably very little.
Very little, because they do so many IPs, right?
Yeah.
I could tell with this one it wasn't that important of a story. It's a story, but I don't think it's that important.
It's not essential.
It's not essential, really.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I think it's a little extra something for Zelda fans, which I think is actually a good segue into our last question. Yuya Sayaki wanted to know, do you think Breath of the Wild 2 will be connected to Age of Calamity in any way?
I hope not.
I hope not, too.
So I don't know if it was whatever week it was that might have been the first week that we were talking about it, where Donnie had finished it and me and Garrett hadn't. I had made the prediction that I think that they did it this way so that Breath of the Wild 2 can still follow along with Breath of the Wild 1 seamlessly without this happening. But this gives them the chance to do an Age of Calamity sequel if they really want to. I think it's going to be 2 separate timelines. I don't think it's going to impact it. I think it'll keep going. And now they're kind of, Koei's kind of free to do another thing. If
That's
if they want
more
to.
interesting than I think the original question about a sequel to Age of Calamity and Age of Calamity 2, because I don't necessarily want that either.
I don't think so either.
Will, or that I even want it, but it was extremely popular. It did sell very well.
Oh, yeah.
They could say, you know what, and I think part of them did leave that open to the fact that they could say, well, what else could we do? Like, now that we've told this story, what happens now? But it could be different from Breath of the Wild 2 because we got 2 totally different endings.
Yeah, no, you're right. It could be, and it could be completely original. and they could have all new stuff in it. I'm not opposed to it. I'm never going to be opposed to a Zelda game. But just off face value, having what we just played, I'd rather not do that again, to be honest.
Even though it could be more original content,
I would
which is
much rather disconnect them from Breath of the Wild completely and let them do a completely original Zelda Muso game in Hyrule Warriors.
sells.
I know. The Zelda IP's on sale anyway. Here's the thing. Zelda fans buy Zelda games. It could be completely unrelated to anything and it'd still sell.
This one sold more than Hyrule Warriors, though, didn't it?
I have no idea, but I mean, I think that's just the Switch factor. Everything that released on both Wii U and Switch sold more on Switch. Everything. Every single game. There isn't one thing that pointed the otherwise.
Hyrule Warriors is on the Switch.
That's true. Yeah.
If an Age of Calamity sequel come out, I would be hesitant. And I'm a non-Zelda fan. I would consider myself, I play some Zelda games, but not really a huge fan of it. I would be hesitant to really, it's like, well, do I really want to go put myself through that again? Like,
You were really into it, though.
I was into it for a while. Then the burn came. Like, it was a halt for me. I was like, oh, cool. I'm doing all these icons. I'm doing great. The next day I was like, no, I want to finish the story now. I think it's time. So yeah, I if it's more of the same for
And
Age
I think
of
that'd be
Calamity 2.
that'd be the thing that really, I think that'd have to be more won over. Where we were
Yeah.
all in on this from the moment it was announced. They showed it, we were like, oh my God, Breath of the Wild, yes! And then we played it, it was like, woof. Careful what you wish for. And yeah, if they did another one, I'd really need to be won over. And one of the things I was going to say, like, the original Hyrule Warriors had the adventure maps where they like challenges. And these are baked kind of into the map on the game, but not having that separate mode where you're completing the pieces and kind of like putting the puzzle and completing the map and everything. I really liked that part of the original Hyrule Warriors and played a lot of it, especially on the original release. When I got on the 3DS, I played a lot of it because it was just kind of optional,
Cool.
kill time thing. I don't have that feeling with this game at all. For a little while, I kept playing it after I beat the ending, and I was just like, why? I'm not doing anything. I'm just collecting materials. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need it either. I would, of course, buy it and play it because it's Zelda. It has the Zelda name on it, and that's what I do.
Same.
But you're right. I don't need it either. As for, do I think Breath of the Wild 2 will be connected to it? No, I don't think at all.
I think they'll have some Easter eggs. They'll have a nod here and there.
Yeah.
There might be like a little relic of Terrico or something.
A drawing somewhere. Yeah.
I don't think it'll have any importance or,
I hope not.
If there's any timeline stuff,
Because
time travel
hang on a
involved in Breath of the
second.
Wild 2.
So the champions that didn't die, like Shinobu and the other folks, they came to this timeline, helped win, but didn't they return?
They
to
did
the
return back
original
to their
timeline?
original
So
timeline.
technically, when we pick up Breath of the Wild 2, they should just know what happened?
No, that's a different timeline. Once you go back, they're in a new timeline. They can never go
Oh my God.
away.
No. I think they go back to their original timeline. I feel like they were going back, right?
Because, hang on a second. If they left, they're no longer there. Like, they're just gone, right?
That would suck
Depends on
for that
which theory of
timeline.
time travel you believe in. I am standing by the school of Back to the Future, where now they're going back and things are different now.
But then that means that they never left.
Yeah, it's just a time.
That doesn't
blip
work.
for them. Yeah.
Like, if they left, then they wouldn't be there if it was a different timeline. And if they came back, then they would be coming back to their original timeline. And they would know
And it
Terrico.
depends on what school of time travel.
That's
you
weird.
want.
And this is why time
It is weird.
travel
It's
sucks.
very weird. No, I think in Breath of the Wild 2, the champions are. You're talking about like the new champions.
Yeah, I was going to call them like champion lights, or I'm not exactly sure what we should call them.
No, I don't think they're going to have any recollection or memory of doing this.
They're
Well,
because
they're
I
not
think-
going to mention it.
They're like,
No.
I have seen the future.
Because I think in
I've
Breath of
seen
the
the past that was gonna be the future.
Right.
I was like,
Wild, never woke up and saw it and went back. That's how I see it.
time travel, man. I'm
It's
good.
weird.
I'm
love
good.
It's not my
all
favorite.
movies, and no, I love it.
It's not
All
my
of my
favorite.
favorite movies and games, and I love it so
I like
much.
when it's done well. The problem is, it's not that I think this was done poorly. I just think it was done with without any consequence. So it's right. So that's the reason why I don't like it. Is I don't think it's gonna.
happy Nintendo game.
It's not going to have any sort of payoff or any merit or anything. It's just kind of a way for them to do what they want to do. That's it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Any more questions?
That was our last Age of Calamity question.
That's it. Well, we're going to talk about our favorite games of the year, and I won't spoil where this game fits on that list, if at all. But we're going to do that. So you will have a Shackapire, as dubbed by Elaine. You will have an episode that releases next week talking about our favorite games of the year across all consoles and everything. It's going to be not necessarily specific to Nintendo, although I'm sure with the cast we'll have plenty of Nintendo games. So you're going to have some content for you, but we are officially, as the end of this recording, on vacation. We're going to take a couple weeks off. We have some content, some bonus content, some Patreon content. So if you don't support us on Patreon, we are going to cherry pick a few of those episodes and we're going to release them on feed so you guys can kind of see and hear what you're missing out on. And just to kind of give us some coverage over the holidays. So you're going to continue to get content in your feeds on time as we regularly schedule. But in the interim, we are going to hopefully go play some video games, spend some time with family, do all that cool stuff. Quickly before we go, what are your plans on break? Do you have like a specific game plans you're trying to get through or anything? Sleep? Watch her stream every day.
Pretty much.
No, I haven't decided what I'm going to be playing yet. I haven't been streaming this week, but I got to jump because I beat Age of Calamity. I have to figure out what I'm playing next.
Did you finish your Christmas Town?
I've been playing it, so I have been playing that.
Did you see how excited she got? She's like, oh.
Yeah, she's like she lit up.
I've been making my snowmen. They've been perfect. I've been getting my snowflakes. I've been making my little light up reindeer. Yeah,
Nice.
It's coming along.
That's cool.
I'll be playing more Yakuza and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'll just rotate between those two.
I think I'm going to do Phoenix Rising. I'm going to try to jump in on some of these sales. I've seen a few things. One of the things I have yet to get to No More Heroes 2. I might just find some time to finally get that going too as well.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. The final live Shack recording of 2020. It's been a wonderful year, Shackers. We appreciate all of your listening and sharing and interacting with the show and asking questions and all that you do for us. And we wish you the merriest of Christmas and happy holidays. And we'll catch you in next year, the future. We're time traveling, like Tarako.
What timeline does that fit under?
New Shack timeline, the Shack expanded universe. We'll catch you next year in 2021. Good night, Kooplings.
Bye-bye.